It's August 1998. The hot sun beating down on the Ironmen of Holt. Their purple and white jerseys soaked in sweat as they prepare for the 1998 football season. Months later, they would reign as area champions.
Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain.
It all began at home as the Ironmen faced the tough task of taking on the defending 6A state champions from Tuscaloosa County High in Game 1. After falling behind early, the defense turned up the heat, led by Melvin Cotton. And when County tried a fake punt, they didn't fake out Marquis Coleman. But the first half wasn't kind to Coach Jerry Wright, losing starting quarterback P.J. Guy to injury and trailing 12-0 at halftime. That's when work began on a second-half plan. Part of the plan? Give it to Derek Graves.
They got the rhythm today. They're in the zone.
And go to the air. Corinthian Ruffin to Steve Crawford. The Ironmen put a scare into the Cats with his score by Derek Graves. They dropped the opener, but served notice to everybody else that these Ironmen were going to be hard to beat. The Cortland Indians came to Holt to attack the Ironmen in Week 2, and the Holt defense dug in on 4th and goal at the 1. But Melvin Cotton stopped him, one of his 15 tackles. On offense, the line showed the way for the runners. Sean Coleman took it 88 yards for a score. He had 116 yards in the game. Marquis Coleman ran for 76 yards on just 6 carries, including this 28-yard touchdown. He also caught a 45-yard touchdown pass from Ruffin. Derek Graves opened eyes with his first 200-yard game of the season, scoring 3 times.
Get a T.O., baby. Get a T.O.
The Iron defenders were delivering hits the Indians could remember.
I love it, baby. I love it.
Marquis Coleman had 10 tackles and an interception. Eric Harper enjoyed this sack. Trent Hallmark came up with a fumble. And you're going to feel this hit by Sean Coleman. Holt wins 39-27. The Ironmen hit the road for the first time in Week 3 at Bibb County, and they liked it there. The special teams had a good night, blocking a punt. And Marquis Coleman returned a punt, 65 yards for a score. The defense made life tough for the Choctaws all night long. Dusty Skelton sacked the quarterback 3 times. He had 8 tackles. Marquis Coleman had 14 tackles and this interception. Sean Coleman had an interception to go with his 8 tackles. Dan Stringer and Mike Griffin had tackles into the double figures. And Melvin Cotton led the charge with an incredible 31 stops. That's a state record. Meanwhile, the Holt offensive line bullied Bibb County as the backs picked up 358 yards on the ground. Derek Graves gained 241 of those yards, scoring 4 TDs. Amos Davis, Hootie, he had a score, hustling 65 yards to the end zone on this play. And Sean Coleman added a 13-yard touchdown run as the Ironmen chew up the Choctaws, 48-16. Pleasant Grove came to Holt for the 4th game of the year, and that was a pleasant experience for the Ironmen. Sean Coleman scored first to give the Ironmen the lead. After a Pleasant Grove score, the defenses took over the rest of the first half. 7-6 was our halftime score. Pat Wynn set the tone for the second half with his sack. And of course, where there's hitting, there's Melvin Cotton. Sean Coleman's second TD gave the Ironmen the lead. And offensive linemen like Ryan Chestnut, Pat Wynn, Eric Harper, Josh Shaw, Stephen Crawford, Dan Stringer, Jeremy Shaw, Chris Robinson, and Brandon Ponder deserve some credit for Graves' 3rd straight 200-plus yard game. This 90-yard TD, his second of the game. Holt scored 24 straight points in the second half to make things not so pleasant for Pleasant Grove. The rivalry with Hillcrest in Week 5 provided some big hits. Derek Graves was on the run again. He had 135 yards on just 14 carries. And quarterback Corinthian Ruffin made some big plays. He was 6 of 10 for 115 yards. This punt by Derek Graves and the punt coverage by Amos Davis is worth a look. The Ironmen went to Dora in Week 6 and had an adorable time there. The running game ran right down the field with their first possession behind that great offensive line to take the early lead. Now, bring on the defense. Eric Harper with the big hit. That led to a score on special teams as Melvin Cotton blocked this punt. A Derek Graves 55-yard touchdown run made it 22-0 Ironman. Now more defense and more Eric Harper. A Dora punt turned into a Marquis Coleman 75-yard punt return for a touchdown. A little while later, Marquis did it again. This one may have been better than the first one. And Derek Graves certainly wasn't satisfied with just one long TD run. He had 247 yards on just 13 carries. made some big plays. And the defense was having fun at Dora's expense. They even picked off a couple of passes.
You like it like that?
Mike Griffin got that one. And this Melvin Cotton touchdown return was called back. No problem. It wasn't needed, as Holt dominated Dora 49-7. Oak Grove came to Woody Clements Stadium for a key area matchup in Week 7. Marquis Coleman gained 67 yards on only 4 carries. These 2 runs led to Holt's first touchdown. And then Coleman got the ball back with this interception. Quarterback P.J. Guy took over in his first appearance since the season opener because of a foot injury. He was 6 of 10, passing for 113 yards, including this 22-yard touchdown pass to Corinthian Ruffin. But Oak Grove was a worthy opponent, matching Holt TD for a while. This Marquis Coleman kickoff return gave the Ironmen good field position. Then P.J. Guy went to the air again and scored through the air again. Justin Carroll on the receiving end. Melvin Cotton and Corinthian Ruffin were hitting hard, but no harder than Marquis Coleman. Time for Derek Graves to send Oak Grove to their grave with this touchdown gallop. It's 27-20 Ironman when Chris Blake delivers this purple pop on kick coverage. And James Williams whacks the running back, causing this fumble. Later, Holt is backed up to their own 5-yard line. No problem, thanks to the O-line and Derek Graves. And Sean Coleman. And Graves again. He had 195 yards on 18 carries. The guy to Crawford's 2-point play made it 35-20 Ironman at the half. Derek Graves added a fourth-quarter touchdown. Marquis Coleman worked his magic on another punt return as Holt held off Oak Grove 47-42. McAdory at Holt for Game 8, and this shaped up as a defensive battle. Mike Griffin picked off a Yellow Jacket pass. And this Melvin Cotton sack forced a fumble, recovered by Pat Wynn. But as the Queen was crowned, the Ironmen found themselves with a slim 8-7 lead at the half. Second half, Pat Wynn wanted to hit somebody. And so did Marquis Coleman. Special teams produced a special TD as Dusty Skelton recovered a fumble in the end zone shortly before this game came to an end. The Ironmen travel to midfield in Week 9, the area championship on the line, and Melvin Cotton and Eric Harper in the Patriots' backfield. More defense as Dan Stringer picked off a Patriot pass. Derek Graves scored twice in the first half. And P.J. Guy hooked up with Dan Stringer on a 44-yard touchdown pass play as the Ironmen were Iron Man handling midfield 22-0 after the first quarter. Another long pass meant another Holt TD. P.J. Guy to Marquis Coleman, 50 yards. Cotton and Wynn kept the hits coming. Derek Graves scored again.
Oh, yeah.
Another Ironman interception, this one by Mike Griffin, sewed up the victory. The Purple Rain begins as the Ironmen are area champions.
Some more beautiful.
Holt scored early and often at Brookwood in Week 10, starting with this Derek Graves TD. Minutes later, Marquis scored from 48 yards away. Next time they got the ball, P.J. Guy put it up, and Sean Coleman took it to the 4. Then it was Guy to Graves for 6 more. It's 20-0 Ironman, and the first quarter is only half over. Derek made plays on defense, too. Back to the offense, where the offensive linemen were plowing over the Panthers for Ruffin and Graves, leading to more Ironman points. P.J. Guy to Dan Stringer. Good blocking for Carl Chambers, who makes a nice run. And they're not going to keep Amos Davis from scoring. Add a Sean Coleman TD. And a 27-yarder by Carl Chambers later. And the Ironmen bury Brookwood 50-7. On to the playoffs we go, and the Ironmen are at home as area champs hosting West Point. The Ironman offense was in high gear from play 1. That play was called back, but it was beautiful to watch anyway. The penalty kept Holt out of the end zone, but only temporarily. The TD by DG put Holt up 6-0. And before you could say the score, they were scoring again. Great running after the catch by Dan Stringer. Now the Warriors think they're going to score. Instead, Marquis Coleman comes away with an interception. And watch the guys up front open a hole for Derek Graves. A penalty brought it back, but look at the next play. A couple of plays later, Marquis Coleman made it 20-0 after a Graves two-pointer. After a Warriors score, the Ironmen mounted another drive. Graves scored again. P.J. Guy to Aaron Tennyson for 2. It's 28-6, Ironman. After a West Point score, the offense goes back to work. The line and the lead blocker, Amos Davis, showing the way for another big gainer for Graves, who had 188 yards on the night. His 1-yard touchdown dive followed that run. Now, check out the defense. Unusual formation, great play. Pat Wynn. More Ironman O. Guy to Coleman. And more defense. Derek Graves with the sack. Still more offense from Graves. And Ruffin. Leading to Graves' 4th TD. A 2-yarder. Look at Pooty scoot. The Ironmen go on to win 48-12, and it's on to round 2 of the playoffs. Winfield at Holt. Coach Jerry Wright believes in his Ironmen, and he should. 3-0 Pirates when Marquis Coleman took off with the kickoff. On first down, it's Coleman again. 26 yards. Guy to Stringer for the score. And when they got it again, Sean Coleman took it 84 yards for another Ironman TD. But the Holt coaches wanted more. And they got more from Derek Graves. And Winfield made the mistake of punting the ball to Marquis Coleman. While the offense and special teams was scoring, the defense was doing their job too. Corinthian Ruffin with the interception. Sean Coleman with the hit. And James Williams with the sack. But we couldn't forget about Melvin Cotton, could we? Or Patrick Wynn. But Holt isn't done scoring yet. The 43-yard TD was Derek's 3rd of the game, and here comes number 4. Graves gained 236 yards in the game, and he went over 2,000 yards for the season. Marquis Coleman added a defensive score, making the final 56-30 Ironman, and he's on to the quarterfinals. Only 8 teams remain as Holt visits Deschler. Holt got a big defensive play from Brandon Ponder. And a big special teams play from Melvin Cotton. Sean Coleman gained 68 yards on just 7 carries. And the guide to Ruffin combo worked for some first downs. And on defense, Holt was hitting hard. The season came to an end on that night But what a great season it was, making it all the way to the top 8 in the state. And they are the reigning area champions. We'll call it the Purple Rain.
Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain,